All right. So, big project here. Gonna do a haunted house. Hopefully this is interesting to watch. Buckle in, because it's gonna be a long set of videos. And I'll get into it. Hope you enjoy. So, part 2 of the haunted house. We've done a bit of the roofs, we've done the walls, we've done some spooky tendrils, as well as some wooden ghosts. So we're gonna touch that up and keep on going. I still have plenty of paint, and by paint I mean purple paint. So we're gonna add more tendrils, because I kind of really like the looks of it. So kind of diving into these longer tendrils, you don't need to do it all in one stroke. You could end it there and then just add an additional one. Everything could be built off like the first tendril you paint. These bats are another interesting part of this metal haunted house. They're suspended by a metal wire. It gets a bit in the way for painting, but I think the best way is to kind of turn those into tendrils as well, where they're 3D, they'll obviously look different than the ones painted on the walls. Just painting that a purple as well will kind of blend it in a bit more, rather than just having like a stark black wire. Just doesn't seem right to leave it black. So I'm going to paint it purple and see how it looks. So the second lower bat, bit of a tighter angle, kind of going in carefully, holding the brush a bit weird but steady. In painting the wire of the top bat, a couple drips came onto the cone, so I decided to continue with the whole tendril theme and paint over those mistakes with more tendrils. I'm just kind of connecting them together like dots. Connecting the dots. So while I did want to keep the base black of the bats, I didn't want to just leave it plain, so I decided to do a couple little lines, again using the purple, because the idea is that these bats are born from the purple tendrils of energy. They should have at least a similar color. I went with this like striped look, and I decided to kind of mix it around as if it was like a bubble or a cloud of energy swirling into a bat form. Again, you need to use your imagination for this, but that's what I was going for. We're officially out of purple paint. So we'll come back to this area once we get more purple. For now, we'll switch to another color because I need to find more things to paint purple before I commit to more purple. So we're going to switch over to some green grass now. So it's time to clean the brush. Probably switch it out for maybe something larger. Again, just the standard cleaning. Wipe off the paint. Try to soak everything so that the paint doesn't get stuck in the brush. There's a couple things I'll probably reiterate from older videos. I'll just try to keep it shorter because I don't want to do the same explanation every time. So I wanted the grass a bit darker for the first coat, and we've already have a bunch of brown on the base plate here. So I'll mix in the brown to make it darker. Usually it would be black, but we'll use brown because that should help it blend in a bit more with the brown earth already. So with the grass, I'll eventually be moving this shade of green lighter and lighter as I do more coats of it. So I'm going to kind of place it in clumps. It's not an overly healthy patch of lawn. I'm just going around the entire base and painting little patches of green. Some are going to be larger sections, while others are just like a quick dab with the brush. Now I want to go in with a lighter shade, and with this I'm just going to take the same green paint pot and add some white just to keep it a similar green, just a lot lighter. So in a similar manner, I applied the darker base coat. I'm going to do the same with the light color, just make it smaller, kind of build up a bit of depth, and not to make it homogeneous. Again, this is quite a lighter shade, so I don't want to overdo it. Less is more in this case. So I kind of finished my highlights in the grass, and I still have green paint left. I'm going to add some black to that, just to make it more of a greenish gray color. I was expecting more of a greener hue, but this ended up being a lot more grayer than I thought. So I figured, I guess it's time to do a couple like pathway stones. For these stones, I didn't want them all to be the same orientation, so I kind of twisted the brush every time I dabbed it, just to put it at a different angle so it didn't all look the same. It's going to be a mixture of smaller and larger cobblestone. Didn't want to make the pattern look too identical. So turning this guy around, we're going to start doing a bit of the inside. Now, this part is going to be a bit hard to see, so I'm going to have to throw up a couple images, I think. But for right now, nothing too complicated, just using up the remaining gray I used on the stones to do like a concrete floor. And I believe I used a bit of gray in the walls, just to trim, as if it's like a foundation of a house. I'm angling the house a lot in this just to get light in there so I could kind of see what I've covered, what I haven't covered, because it's not easy to paint in these small rectangular slots. It's completely hollow inside, but obviously I can't angle up a brush to paint the upper area, so I'm kind of just focusing on anything you could see just by glancing down at it. With the last bits of the gray, I mixed it a bit more with the remaining dried-ish green paint, and then I'm just going to add that to the patches of grass sparingly, of course, just enough to add another layer just to make the whole lawn patch pop a bit more. Just to align the foundation that I laid in the back with the front door, I decided to also paint the inside of the porch area gray. Again, just to keep it a bit more consistent. It doesn't need to be perfect because this area is a bit dilapidated. So a bit of an unorthodox idea. So paint dries and can't let it go to waste. So when paint dries, it kind of just becomes like a shell in the little pots. I like to use those. I kind of put a little bit of new paint on it, and then I swirl it with the brush, preferably an old brush. And as the old paint kind of rips away in a, I guess a skin layer. A thin layer. I use that to add like a bit of 3D texture, and maybe it's debris or rock bits or like a crumbling concrete or rock. It's normally not good paint to paint a smooth coat with, but we don't want a smooth coat. We want rough. I could take an older pot and rip out the entire thing, and I have a large clump of dried paint. A little bit of gold. This gold could be useful. It's a surprise because half the time I don't remember what I last painted. It's usually a cool color or a combination of colors. I'm gonna take this larger metallic chunk and I'm gonna start tearing it off and crumbling it up. What I'm imagining is like a door frame that was once gold but has since been tarnished and just fallen onto the concrete floor of this porch. So I'm gonna rip chunks off, roll it up, and I'm just gonna gently poke them in different areas of the floor, the walls of the T-frame. And this gold could be a nice contrast to a lot of the matte, darker colors. This is a gold frame, but it's old gold. So I'm just gonna dab it with a bit of gray just to give like a dirty look. Again, this gold has been probably sitting out exposed to the air for a long while, and there's probably all kinds of dirt and debris and leaves that have just been blowing into this doorway. So I'm just going to continue to rip off pieces and just place it or poke it into this porch area. And some, it's just a simple clump that I fold. Others, I'm going to try to roll them up to be like maybe more pillar-like or crumbled pillar. You can kind of just experiment with it. I find sometimes some of the clumps that aren't rolled up, after a while, they'll just flatten out, so it won't look as detailed. But I'm hoping the rolled piece is going to be a bit more 3D. Again, the crumbled pieces sometimes settle like really flat. Maybe when they get rehydrated, it kind of melts down. I'm not really sure, but hopefully this 3D pillar will stand out more. So we'll probably explore this a bit more in another video, but just to give a small little look at it, here's the small pillar here. You can see that's catching the light. Again, not the best shot of it. It's kind of hard to get a good angle on the camera, especially because I'm kind of guessing where the camera's looking. But you can see little snapshots here, and it looks cool to have a little bit of gold, you know, catches the eye. Hopefully people know, well, you don't need to know what it is. It still looks cool, so it doesn't matter. Adding to the metallic theme, let's go in with some bronze. But that'll be next video, and it might be gold. I haven't decided yet.